Brightmoor kids. We are in week 4 of our Joseph series. So far, we've learned lessons in Genesis 37 and now in Genesis 39, all about Joseph and his life when he was a teenager. Last week, we talked about when Joseph was in Potiphar's house as head of the head servant, and then how he was faced with temptation and wrongly accused. Our friend Boudreaux will let us know more about the next lesson we will learn from Joseph's life.
Hey kids, what's up? It's me, Boudreaux, and we're continuing our series called Living the Dream. We've been looking at the life of Joseph in the Old Testament, and it's been awesome. But now I got a question for you. Have you ever had something just super bad, I mean really terrible happen to you, and you ask yourself, why is this happening to me? Well, I have went around and asked some kids exactly what was the worst thing that had happened to them, and this is what they said.
Well, one time when I was 2 years old at church in the nursery, I was swinging on these ropes and fell and busted my head, and it hurt so bad.
One time I fell off my bike. I woke up late for school and I didn't have time to get all my stuff together.
I fell on the beach with all my clothes on.
There was a really mean boy at school. He was pushing me, fighting me, and making me so mad.
Sometimes bad things just happen. You know, like maybe you get picked on at school, or you get a really bad grade on a test, or maybe even worse. Maybe your parents got divorced, or somebody in your family got really sick and they even died. You might be wondering, why is this happening to me? The Bible says just because we're Christians doesn't mean that we're gonna have a perfect life. We're gonna go through some rough times. That's a fact, Jack. Too many times people give their life to Jesus and they think just because they did that their life is gonna be perfect and they're not gonna go through rough times. And then all of a sudden they get mad and they give up on God. But God said we will face many troubles, but He's gonna be there to rescue us from each and every single one of them. Now, it may not be as fast as we want it to or the way we want it to, but He's gonna give us the strength that we need to get through the tough times. We can't just give up and quit because times get hard. We just gotta continue to do right, trust God, and He's gonna get us through the rough times. Well, we have a lot to learn today about the life of Joseph, and we need to learn what to do when we're asked the big question, why is this happening to me? But for now, just sit back and relax and keep living the dream.
Joseph did the right thing. He resisted temptation and refused to give in to Potiphar's wife. As a result, he was falsely accused and thrown into prison. That seems like a terrible thing to happen to someone who just obeyed God. Sometimes, even when we choose to do the right thing, life can deal us a bad hand. In those moments, we have to choose to make a wise decision. Will you blame God or get angry? Or will we continue to do what's right in spite of our situation? We will learn about Joseph's response in hard times. Like Joseph, we must continue to do right, even when everything seems to be going wrong. First, let's check in with Devontae and find out what's up.
Hello, children of the Brightmoors. I'm Devontae and your children, and we're gonna learn what's up today. So it is when things are going wrong, do what's right. That sounds like that doesn't make sense, right? Because usually when things are going wrong, I also want to do what's wrong because I don't want to do what's right. When somebody hits me in the face, I want to hit them back. But you do what's right, and you say, "Excuse me, ma'am, I was here first. You don't need to punch me." And that's what's doing what's right is. So let me do that again. So it's when things are going wrong, do what's right. So this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna go, when things are going wrong, do what's right. Okay? So if you didn't see my legs down here, I'm doing some high knees and some spirit fingers down here. When things are going wrong, do what's right. And then you raise your hands and you praise Jesus for doing what's right, okay? Those are the motions. We're gonna do it together. Boys first. So boys, stand to your feet. Stand up, stand up, stand up. And we're gonna do it together on the count of 3. Remember what it is? Hopefully you do, because I'm not gonna do it again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. When things are going wrong, do what's right. Okay, let's do it again. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. When things are going wrong, do what's right. Okay, great job, boys. Sit down, girls, stand up. Are you standing? I'll give you one more second. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. When things are going wrong, do what's right. Awesome. Let's do it one more time. Okay, ready, girls? 1, 3, 2. When things are going wrong, do what's right. Great job, boys and girls. Stand to your feet, and you're gonna do it with me at the same time. I wanna see the highest knees ever. 3, 2, 1. When things are going wrong, do what's right. And that's what's up.
Hey kids, it's your favorite, famous daredevil, Bolt Manglespleen. And it's time for another stunt. But before we do that, let's learn today's power verse. Today's power verse says, "The righteous person faces many troubles, but the Lord comes to the rescue each time." Psalm 34:19. Hot diggity dog! That was a great power verse. But you know what? I'm gonna need some help from my future stunt artists out there. So let's have all the boys stand up and say it with me on the count of 3. All right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. The righteous person faces many troubles, but the Lord comes to the rescue each time. Psalm 34:19. Great job, boys. You can have a seat. Now I need all the girl daredevils out there to stand up and say the power verse with old Bolt on the count of 3. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. The righteous person faces many troubles, but the Lord comes to the rescue each time. Psalm 34:19. Great job. You can sit down. Now, let's go to the stunt. Hey kids, before we get to our stunt today, I've been doing a lot of thinking about today's power verse and how, troubles are always gonna come our way, but the Lord will always be there for us, and don't forget that. Haha! So, to get to the stunt, first I thought I'd like to demonstrate what old Bolt's gonna do. And so I have this model here of a basketball hoop, and then an action figure of yours truly, Patent Bending. They got the hair right too. Here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna go out to a basketball court. I'm gonna jump in the air, do a triple flip in the air like this. Someone is gonna throw me the ball. I'm gonna grab the ball and dunk it in the hoop and land gracefully back on top of the hoop and give a little wink. Ding! Let's get to it. But before we get to the stunt, kids, let's have everybody stand up and say the power verse on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. The righteous person faces many troubles, but the Lord comes to the rescue each time. Psalm 34:19. All right, kids, here we go. I'm about to do my jump. Don't forget, triple flips into the hoop.
When we last heard about Joseph, he had just run away from Potiphar's wife. She wanted him to be her boyfriend even though she was already married. Joseph knew that it was the wrong thing to do, so he didn't give in. Potiphar's wife refused to let go of Joseph's shirt, so Joseph squirmed away until his shirt ripped and he was able to run free. Potiphar's wife kept the piece of his shirt and began to scream for help. When the other servants came in, she said, "That slave, Joseph, tried to attack me." Can you believe that? She lied about Joseph. Joseph wasn't trying to attack her. He was trying to get away. Potiphar came home and heard the lie that his wife was telling about Joseph. Potiphar had Joseph thrown into prison. Even though Joseph had done the right thing, he was punished. Joseph was thrown into prison, but he immediately began to show that he was no ordinary prisoner. He began to show his faithfulness, hard work, and trustworthiness. He impressed the chief jailer so much, the chief jailer put Joseph in charge of the whole prison and all of the prisoners. That's pretty impressive.
One day, Joseph met 2 prisoners who looked very sad. So Joseph asked them, "Why do you look so worried?" The men explained that they both had bad dreams and they don't know what they meant. Joseph told them, "Interpreting dreams is God's business." The men told Joseph their dreams, and God gave Joseph the interpretation of those dreams. Do you want to know something amazing? One of those men was Pharaoh's chief cupbearers. God gave Joseph the interpretation of the chief cupbearer's dream. The dream meant that the chief cupbearer was going to be released from prison in 3 days and put back in Pharaoh's court. That is exactly what happened too. The dream came true, and the chief cupbearer was released from prison and put back into Pharaoh's court. Before he left, Joseph asked the chief cupbearer, "Please, when you see Pharaoh, tell him about me. Tell him that I interpreted your dreams and that I don't deserve to be here. Ask him to release me." In your lesson today, you're going to learn some important lessons from how Joseph handled his time in prison. You're going to learn how you need to handle situations when it seems like everything is going wrong.
The Faithful Hall of Fame, Joseph. This is Joseph.
Hey!
Who was the son of Israel and Rachel.
Ah.
He was his father's favorite, so his brothers hated him and sold him into slavery. You see, Joseph was taken to Egypt, and Potiphar, one of the Pharaoh's officials, bought him for his household. God was with Joseph, and he did well in Potiphar's house.
Oh.
Potiphar saw that God made everything Joseph did a success.
Aha.
So he put Joseph in charge of his whole house.
Yeah.
And God blessed Potiphar's house because of this. Potiphar's wife saw how well Joseph was doing in the house, and she wanted to make him do bad things. Joseph ran away from her because he wanted nothing to do with someone who would try to make him do the wrong thing. This made Potiphar's wife angry, and she wanted to be rid of Joseph. So she lied and made Potiphar believe that Joseph had done the bad things that she wanted him to do. Potiphar burned with anger against Joseph and sent him to prison. While Joseph was in prison, again, he did well, and the warden soon made him responsible for all that was done there. God was with Joseph and gave him success in whatever he did. When 2 full years had passed, Pharaoh was having unsettling dreams. Pharaoh did not understand his dreams, so he sent for Joseph. Pharaoh asked Joseph to tell him the meaning of his dreams. With God's help, Joseph told Pharaoh that the dreams told of what could come in the future, and he explained all the dreams to the Pharaoh. Pharaoh believed that what Joseph was saying was true. He trusted Joseph as a wise man, and he put him in charge of the land of Egypt, of Pharaoh's palace, and of all his people.
Anybody recognize what this is? That's right, it's a rose. Most people look at a rose and think, wow, It's so beautiful. Roses are often given as gifts to people. Roses smell wonderful. They're beautiful, but there is something about a rose that isn't so wonderful. A thorn. It's a part of every rose. Thorns can hurt too. Ouch! They stick at you when you go to touch them and different things like that could cause you pain. We can look at a rose and say, God, why in the world would you mess up such a beautiful creation like this rose by allowing it to have a thorn? But the thorns on the rose serve a purpose. They help the rose survive by keeping animals away that might eat the rose. In the same way that rose will have thorns, our lives will have problems and difficulties. Those difficulties and problems can serve a very important purpose many times. We don't always understand it, but the problems and difficulties in our lives are helping mold and shape us into the man or woman that God has created you to be. Remember what we learned earlier in the series? We learned that we are like clay in a potter's hand. The potter is God. In order to shape the clay, the potter has to do a lot of pushing and pulling and cutting and shaping. If the clay were alive, I'm sure it would think, this isn't fair. Why do I have to go through all of this? This hurts. Why are you pulling me like this? But the pushing and the pulling and the cutting, the shaping, is what is necessary to make that clay into a beautiful creation that the potter has now made. It doesn't become a pot or a glass or a bowl automatically. It's through the pressure and the pain that the clay is shaped. So what should you do when things seem to be going wrong all around you? Should you get mad at God? Should you quit? Should you throw a pity party? Let's think back to our Bible story about Joseph. What kind of reaction did he have when things went wrong in his life time and time again? Joseph was thrown into a prison, but he immediately began to show his faithfulness, hard work, and trustworthiness. He impressed the chief jailer so much that the chief jailer put Joseph in charge of the whole prison and all the prisoners. That's amazing. Joseph did what we should do when things are going wrong.
Even when things go wrong and they don't turn out the way you expect, keep doing right. It may not seem fair, but don't give up. Keep doing right. When the teacher blames something on you at school that you didn't even do, keep doing right. When your parents don't believe you are telling the truth, even though you are, keep doing right. When it seems like no one wants to be your friend because you want to stand up for God instead of sinning, keep doing right. Joseph kept doing right, and God gave him an amazing position of being in charge of the entire jail. Wow! He could have complained and quit, but he never would have gotten that position. Joseph kept doing right even when everything was going wrong. That's what we need to do when things are going wrong. Keep doing right. Remember what else happened with Joseph in our Bible story? When Joseph came across two men who were worried and sad, Joseph stopped to talk to them and help them. Why should he care why those men were sad and worried? He was in charge of those prisoners. They had to do whatever Joseph said. He could have told those men to serve him, but instead, he was concerned with how they were feeling and began to serve them. What does that teach us? Just like Joseph, when things are going wrong, we should
put others first. Instead of focusing on his own problems of being in prison, Joseph focused on the problems of the two men. He didn't have a pity party for himself. He focused on helping the two men. Kids, when things are going bad, one of the easiest things to do is focus on how bad things are. Instead of doing that, focus on the needs of others. It's amazing when you focus on helping others. You totally forget about your own problems and you find joy in serving others. When your friends have turned their backs on you, be a friend to someone who doesn't have friends. When you don't have enough money to buy something you need, give your money to help someone who has less than you. When people are picking on you, find someone that you can build up and encourage. As you focus on others and put them first, you will be amazed at how God works through you. You begin to forget all about your problems. Joseph helped the two men by interpreting their dreams. Joseph said that the chief cupbearer's dream meant that he was going to be restored back to Pharaoh's court within a few days. And that is exactly what happened. The dream came true, and the chief cupbearer was released from prison and put back into Pharaoh's court. But before he left, Joseph asked him, Please, when you see Pharaoh, tell him about me. Tell him that I interpreted your dream and that I don't deserve to be here. Ask him to release me. Isn't that amazing? In the middle of Joseph's prison problems, God was working. You see, kids, when things are going wrong,
Remember, God is in control. Never think God has turned his back on you. He is allowing these things to happen in order to mold you and shape you into what he wants you to be. He is still in control. Keep trusting him, keep doing what's right, keep putting others first. Don't forget, God is still in control.
The righteous person faces many troubles, but the Lord comes to the rescue each time. Psalm 34:19.
welcome, children of the Brightmoor. We are here ready to review what we've just learned. This is Jessica. She's new, so you better be nice to her because she might not get all the answers right. Okay, this is Elizabeth, this is Monique, and this is Danielle. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
So
yep.
ready.
Yes, let's go.
Okay, we'll see who wins. My money is on the girl side. Okay, ready? What's up today?
When things are going wrong, do what's right.
Correct. That is correct. What does that mean?
When things are just not going your way, don't just follow in what you feel. Just keep doing what the Bible says and follow God's path, and he will guide you through it.
Yes! 1 point. Okay.
Maybe 2 for the, okay. For
Nope.
next Monday. Okay.
All right. What happened to Joseph when Potiphar heard what happened with his wife?
He was put in jail.
Yes, he was. He was, for lack of better words, thrown in jail.
Thrown in jail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same thing. Okay, next question. What did Joseph begin to do as soon as he got to prison?
He was faithful and he listened to God.
He worked hard and he was faithful.
Okay.
So, yes, I'll give you half a point. 1.5 to 1.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
What did the chief jailer do to reward Joseph?
You put him in charge of everything?
Yes, he did. Yes, they did. Whoever it was, they put him in charge. All right, 2 to 1.5.
Oh.
What did Joseph do for the 2 prisoners he met?
He interpreted their dreams.
And more importantly, God gave him the interpretations of the dream. He didn't do anything. Jesus did it, kind of. You know?
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying. All right, 2.5 to 2. All right, did the chief's cupbearer's dream come true? Her hand.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it did.
It did.
Yeah.
According to our lesson today, when things are going wrong, keep doing blank.
Right. Keep doing the right thing.
Not the left thing.
Not the left.
Okay.
Go right.
3 to 4.5. According to our lesson today, put blank first.
God? I want to say put God first because that's what you always should do.
Others.
Yes. Yes, you put God first, but according to our lesson, it's assumed that God is first. All right.
I think we could get
It's okay. 5 to 7. Okay, next question. According to our lesson today, remember, blank is in control.
God.
Yes. You had your questions mixed up.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay, this is our last question. Are you ready? Put your hand down. Okay. Where was our power verse found?
Psalm. It's a large book, the largest book in the Bible. Not stalling. Psalm 34:19.
Correct. And we have a winner. I'm just kidding. We don't know who won, but hopefully you guys were paying attention. You can go back, look at all the questions, review them, play with your friends, with your amigos, you know? Three, 2, 1. When things are going wrong, do what's right. And that's what's up.
In this lesson today, we've learned that, you will face persecution, you will face trouble. Your friends may even leave you, but God comes through every time. That's the one thing we see in Joseph's life. No matter if it was his doing that caused the problem or someone else's, God always came through for Joseph, and God will always come through for you. I hope you have a great week, and we will see you next Sunday.